Hello and welcome to this introduction video where we're going to have a look at the latest version of TrackEd and just some of the new things that we've put into it. So let's have a look first at the list view where we have a few new options. We're going to click on the engagement list view, that's E, where it actually shows your behavior, absence and academic data all on one list page here. So going into a bit more detail, we have the negative behavior majors and minors. We have a positive behavior column and a suspension total. Then we have all of the absence data from the new absence list import in TrackEd. And all of these you can sort by any of these headings, and you can actually sort them the other way as well. And you can set your own minimum standards, satisfactory minimum standards, and excellent standards here as well. And when you update these, it'll actually update what's displaying on the page here and color code things appropriately. Change the color codings based on what you've set. We also tally up the number of unsatisfactories per student and the number of satisfactory and excellent standards that they've met. So you can drill down to just the columns that you're interested in and ignore the other columns there. Another useful tool here is you can actually set a week range. So I could look at the whole year or just a semester or just a term, and all of the information in these two sections will actually update based on that week range that you set. Now going further across, we have the year-to-date percentages. We have a rewards points column if you're doing the rewards imports, and we have some basic academic data here as well. So this list view is about combining that academic information, absence information, and behavior information to get that holistic view of engagement at your school, and to be able to work with that, maybe look for students who have met your minimum expectations and those who haven't as well. So just a useful new report that we've built. Again, you can export this information to Excel, or you can save this as a PDF formatted to A3 or A4. Another new list view that we built is the simple list view. So as I go in here, this is just basically a list of names. So with this one, you might have a group of students that you want to send the names to some staff. You could use the simple list view, or you could load the simple list view and choose the Excel export. And that will just export these columns of information into an Excel. So just a useful way of sharing a list of names without all the extra data that's available in TrackEd. I'll just briefly go back to the engagement list view. We've added a student selection mode. So with that, when you go into the student selection mode, you can then highlight any particular rows that you'd like. So you could go through and make manual selections, maybe those who have met your requirements, maybe those who you've decided are at risk based on this holistic information. And then you can limit this group down. So I could hide the ones that I've clicked, or I could show only the ones that I've clicked. I'll just click that now, and it's just showing me the 4 rows here that I've selected. And then I might use the tagging feature to tag these into a group. So you might combine that with a manual or a TrackEd search first, and then further reduce that list using the selection mode to get a group that you'd like to tag with. So I'm just going to head back home and choose my cohort again. The next thing I wanted to show you was the new NCCD section that we've added into TrackEd. This is about being able to collect this information easily from teachers and being able to report that in a purposely built report to use as evidence for this. Okay, so what we've done here is we've set you up with a starting list of strategies. So with all of these, you can edit these to meet your requirements. We've done the strategies in 4 adjustment levels. So first of all, the quality differentiated teaching strategies, then the supplementary adjustments, and if we go to part 2 here, we have the substantial adjustments and we have extensive adjustments, and all of these can be changed for your school environment before you make use of any of them. We also have a printable guide here that lists all of the strategies that your schools have put together, and we have a class planning guide as well. You can print these out, and staff might jot down notes for each of their classes before they fill this into Excel. The way this is done, we go back to the profile, we choose the export button, and we export the NCCD template. That template is just an Excel sheet. We've actually preset some filters in there so the staff can filter down to just their ID and can just fill in the information by putting anything in any of the columns for the strategy types that you've set up. Those all get imported back into TrackEd, and then you can run a report like the NCCD report here. So we'll just load this now. You can pick the found set of students or the current students. We can do 2018 and term 1. So this can be done once a year, or it can be done up to 4 times a year. We can exclude aims there as well. I'm just going to run this report. Now this report is going to generate a list of students who have some strategies. It's then going to break it down by the different adjustment levels and show you which strategies are in use and in which classes, and also the staff ID would be listed here as well. So in this case, you could limit it down to just a single class. You could limit it down to a certain teacher. You could show only one student. You can filter it down to only show rows that have, say, 2 or more classes that are using that strategy, and so that limits it down even further. And all of these you can PDF and print and use for your evidence as well. So that's the NCCD section. We'll have videos that go into more detail on that as time goes by. The next thing I wanted to show you was the new files attachment feature that we've added here. So under the internal notes, there's just a little files tab, and you can actually drop your own files. They can be anything that's relevant to that student, and you can store that file with the student in TrackEd and restore that at any time. Okay, we have single student PDFs. So if we go to the PDF button here, this was here before. We've changed it around a little bit. We're showing you all of the options in one go. And we've added a new option here for PDF groupings. You can now save 1 file per student. You can then choose the naming convention for that as well. So if you're doing bulk email outs and you'd like the TrackEd profile configured any way you'd like, but saved a single file per student, this is how you go about that. And we have actually started discussions with one school about using the Q Parents app to deliver these profiles. So name them with the student ID and then do that delivery. So those are things that are in the pipeline in the future. The next thing I wanted to point out was the additional info searches. So we've added in the find options under additional info some new search options here based on aims, ICP, custody order, out of home care and EALD. So all of those are now searchable options in TrackEd, and that comes in from the student summary import. Another really simple one here, we've actually just added a little student badge that comes up over the profile. You might like to use that for student leaders or different purposes there. Another really simple one is this little One School button. If you click that, that's going to load your login page, or if you're already logged into One School, it will load that particular student that you're looking at right now straight in One School. So obviously if you've got the privilege set to be able to do that. And finally, I just wanted to show you a couple of the new imports that we've added and just explain that a little bit. So I'll go to the import page. You'll see here the student details import and the parent details import. We've added those in this release, but we're not actually doing much with them yet. But do watch this space. We're going to be adding new functionality based on those 2 imports, hopefully very soon. The other one that's new or different is the timetable import, and with that we've replaced our old timetable import with this new one, which actually has 2 separate files, and it gives us a bit more information to work with, where we can actually have the staff ID attached to the timetable, and so we're making use of that with the NCCD feature, and we're going to make more use of that going forward with some internal staff communication tools, such as here are my at-risk students. I'd like to email all of their teachers with their profiles, so just to keep an eye on them. So those are features that are coming quite soon, but built on top of a few of these new imports that we've put in place already. So that's a very, very brief look at some of the new features that are in the latest version of TrackEd. We hope you enjoy them, and we also hope that you can get along to one of our workshops where we'll explain this in more detail.